right in there. Yeah, screw it. Hello everybody, this is Ominous for Ominous Designs on Responsible Gaming. I have way too many names and pseudonyms, I always mix them up. Me, Ominous. Ominous Designs is what we're doing right now for Responsible Gaming. This is episode 127. And I have a couple ideas that I want to run by you. And this time I'm going to think of turning on the little window over here, which is very smart, so I don't have to redo it all over again. So what it is that we are doing right now, we're gonna start. So the theme today is I'm looking at smaller versions, tamer versions of very powerful cards, and this one, the first one, is pretty simple. It is for black and a black. I don't have a real name. It is Minipotence. Do you know what that means? That means we're doing Necropotence. I don't know where they fetched that word, though. I'm going to show you the card, just in case you didn't know about it. Necropotence is an amazingly powerful card. Skip your draw step. Black, black, black. Enchantment. Whenever you discard a card, exile it instead. Sure. Pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library face down, put that card in your hand at the beginning of your next end step. Yeah, it's pretty weird in the way it works, but it makes you pay life to draw cards, except you don't draw anymore. That's pretty sweet. You can draw a million of cards with that. So I'm not gonna do it like I'm not gonna do exactly the same thing, tune down, because, well, for one, there is no there's nothing that you can just make smaller in Necropotence. You just need to make a difference. As it turns out, the beginning of this is going to help me, and I'm going to say, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw 2 cards. That's just exactly what I want it to be. And that's about it. Okay, so that was my idea originally. Now, problem. Do you see any problem? I see one major problem. The major problem is, I'm going to show you this guy. Phyrexian Arena, also an extremely good card. 1 black black, at the beginning of your skip, you lose a card and you lose 1 life. This, by all accounts, mostly is a much better Phyrexian Arena. It costs 1 less, it draws you cards twice as fast. Obviously, you die faster from it, but usually paying life to draw cards is supposed to be good. The only thing that I could see, the only thing that I could say for its defense is, since you're trying kind of to power that fairly early, you're going to yeah, this is just completely busted. I was gonna say you're gonna lose life very fast, very soon, very early, and it's gonna kill you very fast. But it's just completely busted as it is actually. Like, you can't just have like some kind of Dark Confidant that never costs you any more than 2 life and draws you 1 more card and doesn't get removed by Doomblade. Like, this is an enchantment, so it's hard to remove, and it draws you 2 cards a turn, and all you have to pay is 2 life. That is just not cool. So, in case you had not realized, Necropotence is insane. How about... So we cannot... See, the problem is, I wanted this to be a mini Necropotence because it's got a fairly simple design, and in all fairness, all it does that reminds you of Necropotence is the all pay life draw card thing, and being an enchantment, and kind of cute being 2 black instead of 3 black. If we cannot do it just that way exactly, then I would do something like, can we just, this is all very dangerous playing with Necropotent, isn't it? Like, I could add this, and so this would be bad. Whoops. Because if you do like this, well, actually, I haven't removed the you may, because I meant to remove the you may. So every upkeep you lose 2 life, you draw 2 cards, and that would be kind of weird because you can just skip your draw step and then draw a card right after that. That's just the exact same as drawing an extra card overall and losing 2 life, which is very, very, very weird. But what I could do is I could limit it to the end of turn, the same way Necropotence did. And I'm also backing off of that idea because 1, it's super weird. 2, it is still mostly the same as what I was saying. All it does is make you draw an extra card, skip your draw step, draw 2. So it does the same except at the end of the game, which is just weird, but not actually bringing something to the design. So that doesn't work either. And now I'm very bothered because Sure, there's something kind of funny in this design is if you did something like this, now either you don't draw cards anymore, or you draw them by chunks of 3 and you lose 3 life in the process. So you cannot ever draw cards without taking damage to the face anymore. So actually, this also makes a difference with the 2 and 2. You can never draw cards without taking damage anymore. If you don't keep paying life, you get 0. So that actually takes the power down. It's not a Dark Confident if you do. Well, obviously, if you skip the draw step, that means, let's say you get your card the normal way, and Dark Confident gets you a second card. This also gets you a second card, but you pay only 2 life instead of paying the CMC of the card, which would be interesting to do stats on. But 2 life is definitely fairly low pay for your second card. The upside is you can't kill it, or not as easily as Dark Confident. The downside is you don't have a creature, sure, whatever. And the downside is you will never just draw the same as you used to draw again. Like you will not have a natural draw step anymore. You will just lose life draw cards. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it could be a thing. I kind of like leaving the you may on there because you can just try and find a way to not die from it, except you won't draw cards anymore, which I think is pretty cute. Especially, it might be too powerful still though, because you're gonna draw 2, pay 2, draw 2, pay 2. So like for, let's say, 3 or 4 turns, you're gonna draw double. And once you get your 3 or 4 extra cards, you got a good creeper cards and possibly a good board presence, and you just stop drawing cards and then you just kill your opponent. So that is still problematic. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's impossible to balance. I mean, it's freaking Necropotence we're talking about. I just thought there was something to do there. Like, what if we do that? So now You never draw again. It is more powerful as long as you can afford it, obviously. But then when you can't afford it, you cannot draw cards anymore at all, except by chunks of 3 life and 3 cards. I don't know. It's just too much. It's just too much. Hmm. I mean, the thing with a card like this is you get an extra card every turn, but only one extra card every turn. So it is Dark Confident in power level, except you get away with losing less life. A little less, not a ton less, because Dark Confident is not supposed to like dome you for 5 every turn either. It deals usually in the deck that plays it between 0 and 4, maybe 5, and otherwise you're doing risky stuff. So this is kind of an average case, and then you can stop the bleeding on your own, but then you don't draw cards at all anymore. So I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's balanced, but I think he might be a card. I have some illustrations about. How about this one? It's kind of alright. Yeah. So that's what a mini Necropotence will be. I'm slightly afraid I'm losing connection, so I'm gonna just be hanging around for a second until I get my connection again, or I get a proof that I'm still online. No, it seems like I'm online. Okay. All right. So yeah, let's say it's a mini potence. We are gonna now move on to something that's gonna be tricky as well. And creature. What I want to do, I'm just gonna give it to you straight, is I want to do some sort of Snapcaster-ish red card. Okay, so I have 2 different concepts that we're fighting for this one. First, I used to want to make a smaller Flametongue Cavu. Smaller Flametongue Cavu is potentially called Goblin Commando. I don't know. I know it's interesting as a card. I have no idea of the exact power level in constructed or in limited or whatnot. But you can see that it costs 5 for 2/2 that deals 2 damage, which can only remind you that Phantom 1 enters the battlefield, deals 2. It would need to cost like something like 1 red. I don't know. And it would probably still be too good. But maybe not. I mean, the thing with Flametongue Cavu is it leaves a body that's kind of scary. It can trade against a 4/4 if you. But maybe not. I mean, the thing with Flametongue Cavu is it leaves a body that's kind of scary. It can trade against a 4/4 if you remove things from the battlefield. It hits you for chunks of 4. It's pretty good. And then the 4 damage is removing something very real. Now when we're downgrading this, a 2/1 impresses nobody, and 2 damage is like fine. So it might already be a little around what we wish it was. The Twitch dashboard is really annoying me because I can see myself like I'm offline now, and that's disturbing me. So let me check very quickly. I think it's just the dashboard that's messing up, but you know. Let me check. Loading. Yeah, it's working. All right. So refresh. The second idea that I had though was to try and make it something like, so when enters the battlefield, I wanted to do something like that. You may exile a sorcery card from your graveyard. Oh yeah. So one things that I like about this design is it's pretending that you transform something in your graveyard into a shock, let's say. Maybe it's instant or sorcery. So it's like a Snapcaster, except all it can flash back is a 2 mana, 2 damage spell, but also it doesn't need. It can always do it. Basically, that's just what it does. It just says, "I'm a Snapcaster for shock," and what that allows me is to do target creature player, I believe, because I don't want. I want to limit it to player. If I just do a 2/1 that deals 2 damage, I don't want a 2/1 that deals 2 damage to the defending player. That sounds too good. So if I want to say, well, I'm getting a shock out of the deal, um, then yeah, this is what it is. And if you if you start tweaking around the fact that this doesn't have flash, and perhaps you say sorcery and not instant, then you find yourself with something that's very close to Snapcaster Shock, Snapcaster plus Shock, something that also is not instant speed at all, like the source you exile a sorcery, which actually, well, the card is sorcery speed, and then it's got an extra restriction that you have exile sorcery. Maybe, I'm not sure about that close yet, but then you find yourself with a red Snapcaster for shock. And I think with all those restrictions, it's fine. With or without instant or I mean, with sorcery or instant sorcery, I don't know. And you know, it's hard to say. It's hard for me to tell definitively that I cannot move this to like a 3 damage, because what it does is it makes a 3 damage spell that is sorcery speed leave a 2/1 behind. And it has a restriction that you need a sorcery card in your graveyard. And I think sorcery is perhaps, so I've touched on this before, but this is risky doing this. Like, I could say instant sorcery and it would make sense to everybody because instant sorceries are very often bundled together. And now I say, well, my card is too good, so I'm gonna say only sorcery, and that's very risky because you are starting to just narrow your card so much down just to justify the power level, and it makes a on or off card where either it doesn't work or it's very, very powerful, and that's not the best place to be. That being said, if I had instants and sorcery, I think that would be a pretty mean card. You would get your 3 mana, so 1 red deal 3 damage. 1 red deal 3 damage and leave a 2/1 behind, with the caveat that you need a sorcery, otherwise it's a bloody 2/1 for 1 red. Well, I don't know. Hmm. What do you say? First, I'd like to draw your attention on the fact that this insane Snapcaster Mage does this and so much more. It does so much more. Snapcaster does that. It just does that. You have a lightning bolt in your graveyard. It costs 1 blue-red. Lightning bolt to the face. No need to exile. Well, I guess you exile the bolt, and it's got flash, and it can flash anything else as well. That being said, we're not in the business of making a new Snapcaster every week. So that's not the end all be all answer. And also, Snapcaster for Lightning Bolt is actually one of his best usage outside of Legacy. Like in Modern, I mean, I guess you get like Path to Exile. Like it's one of the most amazing value. Like you just add 1 mana and you get 3 damage. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, I think it's to be tweaked again. Um, I feel bad always kind of leaving my designs open that way, but honestly, when you start a conversation like this, you just always end up at at the point where I could be debating up and down the power level for an hour, make a decision, and then be completely wrong anyways. And people might disagree. We might talk about it for days tomorrow on Reddit and on Facebook, and we might still be wrong, or half the people will be wrong anyways, because we will just all disagree on this. Um, So bottom line, what you need is a bunch of playtesting and maybe try and play this in like, limited, then modern, then constructed, blah 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 blah. If you do, if you say sorcery, you wouldn't be good in limited, I don't think. Unless there is like your block has a ton of burn that's actually sorcery speed, which wouldn't be fantastic, but maybe could justify itself. Uh, you would have a card that just is always off, and that's not good. Um, so yeah. So I'm personally, if I wanted to play it safe, I would say something like this. I would say instance or sorcery card, and then 2 damage, so that it's always on. I mean, it's more often on, but you only get a shock, which is, less risky in terms of completely blowing up power level. Yeah, so I might just go with that. I don't want to push for, oh, can I make something a red Snapcaster for red Snapcaster Lightning Bolt? I don't need that in my life. I think shock is, I'll be happy with the free shock. Cool. Yeah, I'm pretty happy where it is. As usual, I'm gonna keep flavor for the article and the posts online because it takes too long and there is no much added benefits, and at least it keeps you coming back to the other channels to see what the card look like, and I think they look pretty good sometimes. I can show you last week if you were the type of person that only watched the videos. uh, Last week we did, I do not remember. uh, Man, it last week feels like it was forever ago. Oh yeah, this guy, was it this guy? It was that. Yeah. This and then Planeswalker. Too bad. You should check out the article because it's in a different page, and I'm not gonna do that right now. So, but do check it out. Do check it out. They look pretty sweet. I hope you enjoy them. So you can check it out on bullseye.com. That's still noted up there. There is also now responsible.gmg.com. You see all the Twitter, YouTube. Twitch, Facebook, all of the things. Do follow me and like and subscribe and do all the things. The Reddit group on which I'm gonna be posting tomorrow is called Custom Magic, and it's a very good Reddit group as well. So do check it out. There's a lot of good designs over there. And that's it for tonight. It's been good. It's been pretty much wrapped up very fast, and I'm happy about it. So I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time.